Hello, welcome back to my complete Blu-ray collection series for 2015. This is cycle number 5 and it is my complete Marvel Cinematic Universe Blu-ray Steelbook collection. So let's get kicked right off with the Playcom Exclusive Steelbook 4, The Incredible Hulk, which stars Edward Norton as Bruce Banner. For the first and only time, we have some gorgeous artwork on the front of Edward Norton and Hulk behind him, and the back artwork is even better, I think. Really cool shot of Hulk fighting, what's his name? I forgot the villain's name in the film. But yeah, you open it up, and you got the villain there as well. And this is one of the kind of landscape steels, you know, that kind of go like this. And it's kind of the first film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The film itself, I enjoyed it a lot at the time, but it didn't really stick with me. I thought Edward Norton was very good as Bruce Banner. I thought Tim Roth was very good as the villain. Liv Tyler was okay, but otherwise not too sure. I don't know where the disc for this one is actually. But there you go, that's the first one. Another Playcom exclusive, the much sought after Iron Man, the first Iron Man film starring Robert Downey Jr. When this film came out, I was just like, wasn't interested at all. People were raving about it. Wasn't interested really. We have Iron Man, the Steelbook, which is fantastic. Great embossing on the front, you know, debossed border on the back, gorgeous artwork of the suit, and on the inside we have Tony there, and this is from Iron Man 2. Play.com screwed this one up big time, but there you go, gorgeous Steelbook. And yeah, when I first saw it, I thought, you know what, I don't see the hype. It was good, but it wasn't that good, you know what I mean? And then I watched it again this year in the run-up to Avengers Age of Ultron, and I suddenly got it, you know? And I thought, wow, yeah, this is just an absolutely fantastic film. Robert Downey Jr. was just born to play Tony Stark, you know? It's one of those characters that just fits like a glove to a certain actor. You know, it's just such a blast watching him on screen as Tony Stark and then as Iron Man, but also seeing that, like, you know, it's a superhero film in which the main character is pretty much a bit of a dick, you know, and then he kind of learns that, I guess, throughout the film, and then, you know, there's a transformation and there's a cool character arc that goes along with that. And next up we jump straight to Iron Man 2. Again, really great steelbook from Play.com. I was lucky to snag these because as soon as they came out for pre-order, someone pre-ordered loads of them and was selling the pre-orders on eBay for like 70 quid, and people were buying them, you know, going crazy for this. It's mainly because this is all embossed, and we have the debossed border as well. The reason that Iron Man and steelbooks are so kind of sought after is because they sell out, because the Future Shop Iron Man 1 Steelbook is probably one of the rarest ones in the world. I don't know why, it's just one of those things that every, I think, collector wanted at one point back in the day that it kind of came out and stuff. And as soon as Play.com announced that they were going to release an Iron Man Steelbook, everyone just kind of jumped on it and was like, oh god, I gotta pre-order it, I gotta get a copy, I gotta get 10 copies to sell on. And you know, this is when kind of the Steelbook scalping days were kind of in full effect, I guess you could say. Now I don't know which one came first actually, whether it was Thor or Captain America. I'm going to say Thor, so to go to Thor we're going to jump over to Norway right now. Okay, here we are in Norway, and I have the illustrious, elusive Thor Steelbook from HMV in the UK. This is one of the most sought after steelbooks for a while, probably still is to be honest, and yeah, I really can't believe that I actually have this. When it came out, I remember it was in HMV and there was just like shelves full of this thing. All you could see was wall-to-wall Thor steelbooks, and I was just like, nah. It was like £15 and I thought, I'm not spending that on a film that I'm not interested in. As it turns out, you know, I could have made a lot of money if I wanted to, but I don't really like to. I've never really done that, to be honest. I've never bought a steelbook to sell it on. I know some people have done that, but well, a lot of people have done that and continue to do that. But yeah, I just passed on it really, and I wish I'd gotten it at the time, because you know, it went way up in price, but luckily I was sent this, and it's a gorgeous steelbook. You got the gloss finish on Hemsworth there, and then the rest is kind of a matte, which is brilliant, and then Thor is embossed in silver. It's just a gorgeous looking steelbook. I love the back artwork as well, with Thor's hammer there, and then there's some nice inside artwork as well of the 4 main characters. I'll just show you that one for now. On the other side, I think you get Loki and Jane, maybe. Well, let's just take the discs out. And yeah, Jane and Loki. There we go. It's hard to get with that glare, but there you go. Just gorgeous steelbook, absolutely gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it. The only thing I don't like about this package is that the disc artwork is terrible. The disc artwork is absolutely, well, I suppose all the disc artwork on these Marvel films are just blue with a white title now, but you know, you got they just look like old DVD discs, you know what I mean? Those old DVD discs that were just clear with, you know, with just the title. So yeah, I mean, Thor is a great film. I think I really enjoy it. I think it's a fantastic origin film. I think there's a great cast. You know, I think Tom Hiddleston's amazing. I think Anthony Hopkins is amazing. You know, the fish out of water kind of storyline with Thor on Earth is fun and enjoyable. Sure, you got, you know, maybe Kat Dennings is a bit of an annoying character. Maybe Jane isn't as. I feel like the romance between Jane and Thor is a little bit underdeveloped and kind of sprung up too quickly. But apart from that, I really enjoy it. I think it's a really, really good film. And yeah, I love all the Marvel films, but you know, I'm a big fan of Thor as well. I think Kenneth Branagh did a fantastic job directing. And yeah, there you go, Thor Steelbook. And now let's head back over to the past. Over to you. Thanks, Luke. Okay, so we're back in Wales. We're back in the past. It's always in the past when you see a video because it's been pre-recorded, but you know what I mean. I'll take this one out of the wrapping first. And this was one that I didn't really talk about Iron Man 2, did I? I enjoy Iron Man 2. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. This one I really, really do like. It's Captain America: The First Avenger. Gorgeous. HMV Steelbook. The title is embossed, you can tell really, and then we got Steve Rogers on the back, and then the inside. So it also has a DVD and some nice inside artwork. Yeah, I really, really like this film. It's different, you know. It takes place mostly in the 40s, and I like that. And I think that Chris Evans is just fantastic in the lead role. I think he embodies kind of the Americana needed for the role of Captain America, but also just a good role model. You know, he's almost reminds you a bit of the Adam West Batman. You know, just a very wholesome kind of character, and he portrays it perfectly in the film, I think. Chris Evans. Then we have, of course, the Avengers, and I have the US Best Buy metal pack or something, which has Avengers embossed on the front, and then I have the Avengers Assemble UK Steelbook, which the whole A is embossed, and I think the backs are exactly the same, just the shield logo. So yeah, I don't think there's any point taking these ones out. Well, I guess I should really, just to kind of go with what I've been doing so far, but the reason I have both steelbooks is, let's a close look at the UK one there, is because the gorgeous inside artwork on the UK steelbook. But the reason I have both, again, is because the UK Blu-ray was censored. The scene where a certain character kills another character with a spear, for the UK Blu-ray, all the European Blu-rays, it was edited so that the spear doesn't come out of the chest of the character who was killed, and so it just looked weird, and it's just bizarre that it was censored in that way, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to get the US release, but also because I loved the film so much when it came out in 2012, I wanted to have both versions, because of course in the UK this was called Avengers Assemble, and in the US it was just called Marvel's The Avengers, and that's because there was an old UK TV series called The Avengers about spies, you know, British spies, and then there was a 1998 film, or a film in the 90s called The Avengers as well. So I guess they didn't want to have people be confused, I don't know. So I wanted both of them, and then here we have the metal pack, and on the inside, again, same artwork, but really, really nice, and then I have put the Avengers Assemble disc in here, and then usually I have the Marvel the Avengers disc and then the bonus disc from the Target release. So I basically compiled an Ultimate Edition with this metal pack and put in like 3 different Blu-rays and kind of my Ultimate Avengers set basically. Yeah, Avengers is probably one of the best Marvel cinematic films still. It still holds up. It's just such a fun film from start to finish. It's an absolute blast. Can't really fault it, to be honest. I think it's might be the peak of the Marvel films. I don't know. I do prefer Age of Ultron, just slightly. I think it's a little deeper, a little darker, but I don't know. It was just, for me, that was when I became such a big fan of the MCU, to be honest. So maybe that's the only reason it's special to me, I guess. Now next we have Iron Man 3. Great steelbook. Again, kind of embossed, debossed arc reactor there. Some great artwork on the back of Tony Stark. I really love this one as well. It might even be my favourite one. Although I might go back on that now because I've kind of rethought my feelings on the first Iron Man film, but I absolutely love it. I think it's funny. I love the story. I love the villain. I love the twist. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Iron Man 3. Also worth mentioning that the Avengers, the US one has Avengers on the spine, and the UK release just has characters' faces on the spine, which caused a big stir when it first happened, and people were like, "What's going on? You know, this shouldn't be happening." So yeah, that was a bit of a thing. And then Iron Man 3 came out, it had it on the spine. It was like, okay, all is right with the world. And then we had Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which went back to the characters on the spine thing. So there you go. And this is another great Marvel film. I love it. Directed by the Russo brothers. Got some of the characters on the back. Actually, I think that Thor: The Dark World came after that. So yeah. Anyway, here's the inside artwork. I'll take the disc out as well. Gorgeous stuff. You got Winter Soldier there. You got Bucky there. And yeah, I saw this in New York, and it was a great experience in the cinema. The crowd was awesome, and all the seats in the cinema were just like luxury reclining leather seats, which was fantastic. But yeah, this is one of the best standalone ones, I think. But now let's head over to complete this video, where I will go back to Norway and I'll show you the steelbooks for Thor: The Dark World and Guardians of the Galaxy. Here we go. Okay, so here we are. Back for the end of this video. It is Thor: The Dark World. The steelbook that's around the world. This is the one from Scandinavia. But yeah, readily available, this one, as far as I'm aware. You can still find it pretty much, well, over quite a few different, I've seen it online still at a fairly decent price. I thought it would skyrocket just because of the history with the first Thor steelbook. It tends to work like that, you know, like the Iron Man steelbook from Future Shop. That became like probably the rarest steelbook out there, and then Play.com released an Iron Man steelbook and it just sold out instantly. So the trends seem to follow themselves when it comes to these steelbooks, but this one didn't really light the world on fire as much as people thought they would. And now we have the advent of the you know, the Korean, the Asian, Chinese market, and they're creating these deluxe editions of these films, and so these become slightly less valuable, which is great because I can get them up I can pick them up for a decent price. Got this for my birthday last year, and Thor: The Dark World I love. I think it's an awesome film. It took me back to being a kid in a way. I just thought the action and the adventure and the special effects and the fantasy elements and everything was just brilliant. I loved it. Really enjoyed the sequel. I guess I much prefer it to the first film, though. Again, as I said earlier, I am a big fan of the first Thor film. The back is a bit odd. You have kind of 3 almost like single poster artwork designs for Odin, Jane, and Loki there, which are pretty cool, but they just kind of slapped on there, and they kind of did the same thing with the Captain America steelbook. Well, no, they didn't, because it was more like a full thing. But as you see, you open this up and it has it's the full spread. I really like that effect with his cape flying across to the back. But again, this new trend of just having these weird character faces on the spine, I'm not a fan of. And then on the inside, you get one of the posters, which is really cool. Again, as I said earlier, the disc artwork isn't that great on these releases anyway, but I'm not sure if there's anything else underneath the disc. Just a vague continuation of the artwork, really. Nothing. Oh no, you can kind of see the villain there. I didn't quite see him. in real life, but I saw him in the reflection of the, not the reflection, in the LCD screen. So you got Malekith there, who's probably one of the most bland, you know, villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I thought the fight between Thor and Malekith was amazing. Loved it. Yeah, I'm big fan of this film. It's one of my favourites, if not my favourite, I think. Standalone Avenger film. Really enjoy it, and I've seen it many times, because quite a few of them I haven't really watched over and over again. This one I've seen, I think, 3 or 4 times, and I just love it every time. I think it's funny, yeah, the adventure, all of it I think is great. And as can be said for most of these Marvel films, really, it looks fantastic on Blu-ray. Some really cool special features. I did a full Blu-ray review of the first Thor film as well. I'll put a link to that in the description, hopefully, if I remember, where I reviewed the whole contents and everything like that. And finally, well, not the most recent now, I guess, but the most recent Marvel Cinematic Universe film that has been released on Blu-ray, Guardians of the Galaxy. Again, this steelbook was released the world over. Everyone's seen it at this point, and again, probably readily available around the world in certain places if you know where to look, I guess. And of course, it is kind of a mock-up look of a cassette player, I guess, kind of a Walkman. You got the tape there. What's it say? Awesome Mix Volume 1. And that focus there, which is of course integral to the film's plot. The tape that Quill has from his time on Earth. The stereo there is it embossed or debossed? Debossed. This is embossed. All this is embossed. So it's kind of cool. I like it. And then on the spine you have kind of the play, stop, skip and stuff. So it's, you know, I like that. And then the back is meant to look like it as well. You got the open label there, and then you have like a sticker actually showing the characters, but I think it was a really nice touch actually, because it shows you the characters of the film. And yeah, I think it would have been a little bit too minimalistic if it didn't have that sticker on there. I really like that. And then the inside artwork is just gorgeous. It's like really cool, kind of pop arty, kind of modern, you know, really cool with colours, and you got all the main characters on there. Hard to really get it in without the glare from either the camera or the sunlight. There you go. Awesome, love that. And yeah, this is a really great release as well. There's some really good special features on this. There's one that kind of has an intro. Well, there's an intro, and then there's little segments throughout the little featurette about the making of the film, which features James Gunn as like an 8-bit video game character going through kind of scenes from the film that play out like they would if they're reenacted in an 8-bit video game from like the 80s or the 90s, and that has like 8-bit music from the film, which is really cool as well, which you can find all that kind of stuff on YouTube. Many people make their own 8-bit versions of movie soundtracks and stuff, but it was cool to see it on a Blu-ray and a featurette and official release. It was pretty cool. But yeah, the film itself, I love it, but I don't think it's as good as people think it is. Well, again, it's all subjective. I don't think it's for me, it's not as good as other people say it is. I think they went a bit too far with the humour. You know, it gets to a point where you have this really serious ending, you know, with the very emotional moments, and then you have all the, you know, the heroes at the end getting together to defeat the bad guy, and then you just cut all that kind of dramatic tension out by having Chris Pratt go, "Dance off, bro." And it's like, oh, really? And everyone's like, oh, it's so funny. No, you can take humour too far. I think in this film it was taken too far a few times, but it was very funny in most of the scenes in the film, and I did love it. Yeah, really good film. Just not quite the kind of masterpiece that some people make it out to be. And again, I find Chris Pratt to be slightly overrated in that regard, and maybe even, I guess, it's kind of James Gunn who wrote all this humour into the film. It definitely made it unique and stand out that it was such a comedy, but it didn't quite work with the emotional impact that he was trying to convey at the end of the film either. And again, I feel like it's almost too easy to use all the classic 70s music in this film to make it cool. But it was a really clever way to get this great music into the film, and it made for a great kind of juxtaposition between these, you know, out of this world, otherworldly, you know, planets and scenarios in outer space and different galaxies with, you know, 70s music. You know, that's kind of cool. Anyway, so there you go, Guardians of the Galaxy. That is the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Steelbook collection. I have every single one of them, and I'm really happy that I do. I kind of thought when Avengers came out, damn, I need to go and collect the rest of these now. And it seemed like an insurmountable task, but managed to do it. And I hope to keep it up with Ant-Man, which should be out soon. Of course, Avengers Age of Ultron, which will be out before that, I imagine. I think that's coming out in September. So yeah, I definitely want to continue collecting them. And yeah, it should be a really nice collection in a few years. I think it's a really nice collection now, but as it is, there we go. That's Phase 1 and almost all of Phase 2. And yeah, from 2008 to 2014, not a bad collection. Thanks for watching.